Sounds like some of you have heard this before. I know I have. That's because this song was called Alice's Restaurant. It's not Alice and the restaurant. But Alice's Restaurant was never the name of the restaurant. That was always just the name of the song. I guess that's why I still call the song Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Well, it all started about 50 years ago. 50 years ago on Thanksgiving, when my friend and I decided to go up and visit Alice at the restaurant. But Alice didn't used to live in the restaurant. She used to live in the church nearby the restaurant, in the bell tower, with her husband Ray and Foch the dog. And living in the bell tower like that, they used to have a lot of room downstairs where the pews used to be. Seeing as how they took out all of the pews and having all that room, they decided that they didn't have to take out their garbage for a long time. We got up there, found the place was filled with garbage, and we decided it'd be a friendly gesture for us to take the garbage down to the town dump. So we took the half a ton of garbage, put it in the back of a red VW microbus, took shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed on toward the town dump. We got there was a sign that chained across the road saying, "Closed on Thanksgiving." And we had never heard of a dump being closed on Thanksgiving before. So with tears in our eyes, we drove off into the sunset, looking for another place to put the garbage. We didn't find one till we come to a side road. And off of the side road, it was a 15-foot cliff. And at the bottom of the cliff, there was another pile of garbage. And we decided that, well, one big pile would be better than two little ones. Rather than bring that one up, we decided to throw ours down. That's what we did, drove back to the church, had a Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, went to sleep and didn't get up until the next morning when we got a phone call from Officer Obi. He said, "Kid, we found your name on an envelope at the bottom of a half a ton of garbage. Just wanted to know if you had any information about it." And I said, "Yes, sir, Officer Obi. I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope under that garbage." So after talking to Obi for about 45 minutes on the telephone, then we finally arrived at the truth of the matter. And Obi said we had to go down and pick out the garbage. We also had to go down and talk to him at the police officer station. Now, friends, there was only one of two things that Obi could have done at the police officer station. The first thing was he could have given us a medal for being so brave and honest over the telephone, which wasn't very likely, and we didn't expect it. And of course the other possibility was that, well, he could have bawled us out and told us never to be seen driving garbage around the vicinity again, which is what we expected. But when we got to the police officer station, there was a third possibility we hadn't counted upon, and we was both immediately arrested, handcuffed. And I said, "Obi, I don't think I can pick up the garbage with these handcuffs on." He said, "Shut up, kid. Get in the back of the patrol car." And we sat in the back of the patrol car and drove to the, quote, "scene of the crime," unquote. I'll tell you about the town of Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where this was happening. They got 3 stop signs, 2 police officers, and 1 police car. But when we got to the scene of the crime, there was 5 police officers and 3 police cars, being the biggest crime of the last 50 years, and everybody wanted to get in the newspaper story about it. And they was using up all kinds of cop equipment they had hanging around the police officer station. They was taking plaster tire tracks, footprints, dog-smelling prints. And they took 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. They took pictures of the approach, the getaway, the northwest corner, the southwest corner, and that's not to mention the aerial photography. And it was after the ordeal, we went back to the jail. Nobody said he was going to put us in a cell. He said, "Kid, I'm going to put you in a cell. Give me your wallet and your belt." And I said, "Obie, I can understand you want my wallet, so I don't have any money to spend in the cell." "What do you want the belt for?" He said, "Kid, we don't want any hands." And I said, "Obie, did you think I was going to hang myself for littering?" Obie said he was making sure, and friends, Obie was, because he took out the toilet seat so I couldn't hit myself over the head and drown. Took out the toilet paper so I couldn't bend the bars, rolled the toilet paper out the window, slide down the roll, have an escape and get away. Obie was making sure, all right. It was about 4 or 5 hours later that Alice, remember Alice? Still a song about Alice, and she'd come by, and with a few nasty words to Obie on the side, she bailed us out of jail. We went back to the church, had another Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, went to sleep and didn't get up until the next morning when we all had to go to court. We walked in, sat down. Obie come in with the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and the paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. He sat down. A man come in and he said, "All rise!" And we stood up. And Obie stood up with the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures, and the judge walked in, sat down with a CNI dog. He sat down, we sat down. Obie looked at the CNI dog, then at the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures, and looked at the CNI dog, and Obie began to cry, because Obie come to the realization that this was a typical case of American blind justice. There was no way the judge was going to look at the 27 8x10 colored, well, it didn't matter. Because we was fined $25 each and we had to pick up the garbage in the snow. But of course, that's not what I come to talk about so much. Just thought I'd mention it. Thought I'd talk a little bit about the draft. And for those that wasn't there, can't remember, or don't know, back in those days, they used to have a thing called the selective service system, which meant that when you was a guy and you turned 18, you had to register with the selective service so that you could select some kind of service that might be of interest to you. If your choice was none of the above, they would help you by making the selection for you. And to do that, they had buildings all across America. And they had one in New York City on Whitehall Street where you had to go in, get injected, inspected, detected, infected, neglected, and selected. I remember I had to go in there one morning a long time ago for my physical examination. So I got good and drunk the night before, because I wanted to feel my best when I went in that morning. I mean, I wanted to feel like, I wanted to be like the all-American kid when I went in that morning. I was hung down, I was brung down, I was hung up, I was all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly-looking things, and I walked in, I sat down. They gave me a piece of paper, said, "Kid, see the psychiatrist, room 604. I went in there. I said, "Shrink, I want to kill. I want to kill. Want to see blood and gore and guts and things in between. Get burned by his eye, kill. And I started jumping up and down, yelling, kill. And he started jumping up and down with me. And we was both jumping up and down, yelling, kill. Till the sergeant come over, pinned the medal on me, set me down the hall, saying, you're our boy. I didn't feel real good about it. But I proceeded on down the hall, getting more injections, inspections, all kinds of stuff that they was doing to me at the thing there. And I was there for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. And I was there for a long time, going through all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things. And they was inspecting, injecting every single part of me. They was leaving no parts untouched. But I proceeded through until I finally come to see the very last man. I walked up, I said, what do you want to see me about? He said, kid, we only got one more question. Have you ever been arrested? I told the story of the Atlas's restaurant, the Massacree with 5-part harmony, full orchestrations, all kinds of other phenomena. He stopped me again, he said, kid, did you go to court? And I told him the story of the 27 by 10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows. He stopped me once more. He said, kid, I want you to go over, sit down on that bench that says Group W. Now, kid. Going over there, Group W. Group W is where they used to put you if you might not have been moral enough to join the army after committing your special crime. And there was all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly-looking people on the bench next to me. There's mother rapers, father stabbers, father rapers. There's father rapers sitting there on the bench next to me. I mean, these was mean, nasty, ugly, crime kind of guys. And the meanest, ugliest, nastiest one, the meanest father raper of them all, was coming over to me. And he sat down next to me and said, kid, what'd you get? I said, I didn't get nothing. I had to pay $25 to pick up the garbage. I said, kid, what was you arrested for? I said, littering. And they all moved away from me on the bench. You read the hairy eyeball and all kinds of stuff until I said, they're creating a nuisance. And then they all come back and shook my hand. And we had a great time on the bench talking about crime, mother stabbing, father raping, who's smoking cigarettes, all kinds of stuff, having a good time. Till the sergeant come over. He had some paper in his hand. He held it up. He went like this. He said, "Get the thing back there, 47 words, and then sentences. One on time, the crime, detail, the crime, you got to say, change it about the crime, the rest of the officer's name, kind of thing, got to say." He talked for 45 minutes. Nobody understood a word he said. But we had fun, filling out the forms and playing with the pencils on the bench. I wrote down the Massacree like I was supposed to, and I put down my pencil, turned over the piece of paper. And there on the other side of that piece of paper, in the middle of the other side, I mean away from everything else on the other side, underlined, capitalized, quotated, read the following words. Kid, have you rehabilitated yourself? I went over to the sergeant and I said, "Sergeant, you got a lot of call and ask me if I rehabilitated myself. I mean, I'm sitting here on the bench. I'm sitting here on the Group W bench because you want to know if I'm moral enough to join the army, burn women, kids' houses, children's villages after being a litter bug." He said, "Kid, we don't like your kind. We're going to send your fingerprints off to Washington." And friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in a little folder, is a study in black and white of my fingerprints. They're still there. They've been there 50 freaking years. But I'm not the only one. They've been adding to the collection recently. And so the only reason I'm singing you the song this evening is because you may know somebody in a similar collection. Even some of you could be in a collection like that. If you ever find yourself in a collection like that, you don't know what to do. There may be well, there may not be much anybody can do, but there's something you can try. And that's to stop whatever you're doing, wherever you are, and just take a moment and go, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. That's it. Just a couple of words, an old song. Imagine one person just singing a couple of words to an old song. Probably not worth collecting. But imagine two of them. Maybe two of them trying to get married in Parks and Texas or something. Or three of them out, I don't know. Or 50 or 50,000 people stop whatever they're doing, singing a few bars at Alice's restaurant. It'd be worth collecting then. Not only that, you get a song with that many people singing, even the people collecting it might start singing along. And when you get a song with people are singing along, no matter where they are, what side of the aisle, which side of this or that, or whatever, it becomes what we used to call a movement. Now one of these days, somebody's gonna write a song like that. Not this one, but could be somebody here tonight. But while we're waiting for that one to get wrote, we can practice on the one we got. It's not all that hard. Some of you seem to know it. Goes like this. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. No. I mean, that sucks. Forever on. I mean, come on. You want to have to worry about change stuff in the word, you got to learn to sing loud enough to be worth collecting in the first place. So we'll wait for it to come around again on the guitar. I'm still not proud or tired. I've been doing this for a while. So help me out here. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. At Alice's restaurant.